Hey there, Bannock folks. How you doing today? Thank you for joining us today on another lovely Wednesday. If you're listening, thank you for checking us out. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. It helps me a bunch in the long run. I'm, as of taping this right now, I'm at 85 subscribers. Let's boost that number up a bit. It helps me out quite a bit. Make sure you go and like and subscribe. If you're new to the show, we are a podcast that brings people from the music industry onto the show, whether they're musicians, photographers, promoters, anyone who's in the scene. And they're working with bands directly and has any sort of crazy story that they have from working with bands. Because we all know bands have wild stories. And this is a show to tell them on. So if you're new here, make sure you're subscribing. Check us out on our Instagram. That's where we do most of our updates. That's at Bandecdotes, Bandecdotes. And if you're noticing that this is episode 68 and not 67, that's because our audio podcast listeners already know this, but we do these new music of the month episodes where they're just kind of like radio episodes where I just go through and play all the new tunage that's come out of Ontario. I even, for this past one that I just did for February, even threw up a Spotify playlist just so that people can check it out and just kind of get used to all the cool new music. I'm going to try and do that more often, trying to make some of those Spotify playlists because, even though they're 10 or 11 songs, a little bit goes a long way. And that's another thing, another thing is that there's, not all those bands have stuff on Spotify. So not always are on there. So you could always check out the new music of the month episodes on, Spotify, the actual Apple podcast platform, any of that. So that's where episode 67 lives. It's not on the YouTube because I can't put it up for copyright reasons. You guys know how it is. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. We got a good one for you. But before we get into it, I'm excited to bring back a nice little segment that we call shows. Oh, hell yeah. Now, shows are coming back, and I'm super excited. And we got lots to talk about today on Bandecdotes, especially all the cool shows that are coming up in the next couple of months. First, we got coming up No Passage Fest. That's happening on March 19th in February at the Bridgeworks. Geez, we got Like Pacific, A Will Away, Exalt, Forest Green, Falsifier, Nightwill, Judgment, Downswing, Fight Club, Hazel, Napoleon, and our homies in Gavel. Make sure you grab a ticket for that. That's probably going to sell out really quick. Next, we got a Bandecdotes and Indoor Shoes show that we thrown together. That's right, Eric has helped me out to put on this show. Actually, we're working together on this one. This one's Crywink. They're a band from UK. They're coming from the United Kingdom, which is super exciting. They're playing with The Commuted and Red Coat, Drifter, and my pal John Lepp, and that's happening March 25th in St. Catharines at Warehouse. Now, Cold Shoulder, our homies in Cold Shoulder, they're doing a stint of shows in April, at the beginning of April, end of March, with a band called Flashback. They're from Western Canada. They're a Canadian band. They're a super cool band, super cool new metal, hardcore band. That's for the Primal Fury release shows. That's super exciting. So that's March 31st, they're hitting London at Rum Runners. April 1st, they're hitting Toronto at the Hard Luck Bar. April 2nd, Ottawa at the Dominion Tavern. And then April 3rd, Hamilton at the Absence. Make sure you grab your tickets for that. Those shows are going to be incredible. Cold Shoulder is putting on a hell of a show. And I'm excited for that new record that's coming out. I've pre-ordered mine. I hope you've pre-ordered yours. Cool. And then we've got Teeth, our homies in Teeth, doing a stint just shortly after that. In April 6th, they're doing Hamilton at the Doors. 7th, they're doing Sneaky D's in Toronto. April 8th, they're doing Ottawa at the Dominion Tavern again. April 9th, they're going to Montreal, to the Le Foufoune Electric. I probably butchered that name because it's French. Sorry about that. Make sure you look up at that show if you're in Montreal, you want to catch that band. And April 11th, they're at Rum Runners in London. Hell yeah. And we're not done here. Our homies in Loose Teeth, now it's a different band, Loose Teeth, they're doing their Wormwood release show in Toronto on April 15th at the Hard Luck Bar with the homies in Rust, Still Numb, and Strange Limbs. Jeez, we got so many shows happening in Ontario. It's unbelievable. All right, let's get into my guest this week. I've been rambling all this time. We got Keegan Beach. He's played in several bands, but he's playing in a band called Lastli right now. But he played in Bitter Kids and a couple other projects. He's been working really hard, and I really had a good time listening and talking with him because, he's an acquaintance, and we never actually got to sit down and talk a bit. And no, I'm excited for it. All right, folks, let's go. Let's do this. All right, we got a great guest for you today. We got a hardworking individual with us. Give a round of applause for Keegan Beach. Thank you for joining me today. Awesome. So I think probably the last time I seen you was maybe when you were working at the local music shop.
Definitely the last time, yeah.
So like when the shop is located downtown,
yeah.
And I used to work downtown, I would walk to work every morning and like clockwork,
yeah.
see you in the...
Give the little wave, yeah.
See you in the window there, and we'd be on with our day.
That's hilarious, yeah.
How you been?
Good, man. Good, yeah. Yeah, navigating through weird times and hanging out and... Yeah, excited to be here. That's for sure.
So you've been in the music scene for quite a while now.
Yeah, since high school, I guess.
Wow.
Since high school.
When's that? What year would that be?
2011, 2012,
wow. So
I guess.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
So what got you like into music and like the music scene and like alternative music?
That's a great question. I remember being a kid and honestly the first music video I think I ever saw was California by Wave.
Yeah. You
remember that?
They're St. Catharines band.
Yeah, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls. So Paul Gigliotti. So I remember being in my basement. I think we were on Chaplin Avenue, downtown St. Catharines, and I saw that and I was like, "Whoa, I really like music." And before that, I used to listen to like Backstreet Boys and stuff like that. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, "Wow, I really like music." And then I don't think it was until I used to be really into sports, but I think when I was 13, I had all this birthday money and I got my first guitar.
Oh, cool.
So ever since, and then. Yeah, once I got my first guitar, I think I was listening to like Blink-182, honestly some Comeback Kid. Back then, they had this album called Broadcasting that I really liked, so I listened to stuff like that, and started like a grade 8 band with my brother and a couple of friends who played guitar and drums. So kind of did that, and then once I got into high school, I kind of really got into playing guitar and whatnot, and I wanted to start a band, so I was like reaching out to all these different kinds of people, and then one day, I think it was when Niagara District closed down, my friend Brad ended up coming to Simcoe, and like we met in the hallways one day, and I was like working with some guy who just started up a studio, and I had this instrumental, but I couldn't sing, so I was like, "Hey man, do you want to sing on this song?" And then that's kind of how the high school band started, and then I don't know, yada yada yada. Kind of go from there, yeah.
Yeah,
so that's kind of how it started.
So you want to tell the audience like what band you're playing in now and what you do? And
right now the band I have is called Lastli. So it's just a project with a few guys, and I do like most of the writing, and then Damien Birdsey mixes everything. Andrew does video, and we just kind of go from there. Obviously a little bit slower right now because we're not playing shows or anything. But
so you guys do everything in house? Everything's
in house. Yeah,
wow.
We have that in house mentality kind of thing. So it's good on our wallets.
Yeah,
I guess, but
yeah, it's good on the wallets, and then like everybody's kind of on the same page creatively.
Yeah,
right, and they can always that's cool, and they want to help advance the band, and they can do it in their own. Can it sometimes feel like there's too many cooks in the kitchen though? Some with that?
Not often. So, like sometimes I guess. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like we can get picky, but other than that, it's pretty smooth. It's pretty smooth for sure.
You guys put out an EP last year.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And a handful of singles before that. Like you guys have been active.
Yeah,
since
we just
when?
did. Yeah, I think 2017.
Wow.
I think. Yeah, I kind of just started as like a after Bitter Kids, the band that we were all in. I was kind of like, why don't we just? I kind of want to start like a project. So it was mostly recording and just I'd kind of write songs and then we'd be like, hey, let's record them and put it out. And then and then one day I think maybe a couple of years ago, Eric Dixon was like, there's a show coming up. I'm putting you guys on it. You better start practicing. So we So then we started playing shows, and then I think we got 5 shows in before COVID started. So it was mostly a recording project for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, this might be a little bit of an outdated question, but I noticed that you guys put out a ton of singles before, like, you guys put out an EP. Is there a reason for that, or is it just?
I think at the time everyone was saying like just singles is where it's at,
right?
I guess so. There was that, and then there was also just I think where we were like as individuals, like Damien with recording, me with writing, Andrew with video. We were just kind of like, I was like, oh, here's a song, and like this song's awesome. Like let's record it and put it out, and that was just kind of it. We never sat down and we're like, okay, like let's do an EP, let's write an EP until we ended up having, I think the first lockdown we ended up just, I think it was around that time, but we ended up having like a collection of songs. So we're working with this guy named Mark Watson, who's kind of managing us, and we're like, let's do, because we had so many songs piled up, we're like, let's do like an 11 song EP. And he's like, well, that's kind of an album. And we're like, okay, sure, it's an album, but it's an EP. And then we're like, oh, we don't want our first album to be this. So we ended up just choosing like our 6 favorites and just did that as an EP just because we had them. And then I think we did 1 single after that. And yet again, sitting on like tons of tunes now. So kind of in the process of choosing what we're going to do next. And,
yeah, it makes sense to do that approach, especially when you have the like ability to do a music video for every one of the singles, right?
Yeah.
Which helps, I mean, nowadays get that song a little bit further.
Yeah.
And with the streaming platforms, having the singles out almost all the time makes it easier because after one single gets played, it'll automatically play the next one, right? Whereas like a record, you have to kind of like finely tune where songs need to be and whatnot. Yeah, so exactly. I understand that. It's just, it's not an approach I've never taken, and I've always just wanted to be. Yeah.
I mean, even before that, we've done like maybe 1 single and an EP or whatever. So it just kind of, that's just the way it was.
We kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
It wasn't super thought out if it seemed that way.
Did you folks get to play any shows last year?
Like 2021?
Yeah.
No.
What was the last gig you got to play?
When did all this happen? Like 2020?
2020.
2020. So it would have been, I think, February or March of 2020 was our last one at the Velvet Underground.
Okay.
And it's funny, it was for this like pre-party it's called Pendants Film Festival, but that was the show. And we were all so sick. And this is just when this is just when we're hearing about this novel coronavirus. So we're all very sick, and we played the show like just before the show. We're at this like restaurant eating, and we all had food, and then we got back, and Damien chugged like he obviously not intentionally, but he chugged a little too much Benadryl or one of those like cough syrup things, whatever, and it almost knocked him out. But we played, and we were all so sick. Scott had to go like lay down after the show, and we're like, oh yeah, corona. So we're pretty certain we all had like.
You think it was it?
We're pretty certain, that it was. We were just all so sick for so long, and that was the last show, and then everything shut down, and then we were just like, okay, what do you do?
Well, we ended up playing. We made a tour happen in 2020 in February, and our last gig was on March 1st, and a couple of guys definitely went home sick. And they said they were pretty sick, but like, testing wasn't even a thing then.
No.
Nobody kind of knew. It was just kind of like, if you're sick, stay away from each other.
Yeah, no kidding.
So what are some of your favorite Ontario bands that have come up in the last year or so?
Ontario bands? Yeah. That's a great question. There's some like, I guess like pop bands that I like. There's a band called Valley that's cool. Other than that, man, I'm not really too sure. My friend Russ Donahue. Do you guys know Russ? Russ Donahue?
Russ, I know.
Kyle?
I don't think so.
Russ Donahue though. That's
Donahue,
related to the like Chase.
Not
Spenny?
Chase. They're missing a. Russ is missing a G from Donahue and Donahue, and then Chase is Donahue or however you pronounce it. But he has a studio, and he records like. Pindles and Little Nerves and all that. So sorry, there's another couple of bands I like, but yeah, he showed me some stuff he was working on, and so that Pindles band, if you've heard of them, I heard a couple of not sure if I'm allowed to say. I guess I heard some of the mixes, and I was like, this is cool. I'm into this. But other than that, I do like that. I do like Little Nerves. Zach Oliver is a guy that I do a little bit of songwriting with, and Damien does a bunch of production for.
Yeah.
Other than that, not too many that I can think of.
What's Chase up to these days? Do you know?
Chase is a tattoo artist.
Really?
Yeah.
With Spenny?
With Spencer, yeah.
Oh my God.
Heck yeah.
And Dylan?
Heck yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my! Are they all at Artistics?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Holy
it's
shit.
funny. I just got this one. I got this one like maybe a month ago, and I go to the Niagara Falls shop, and they're all just there hanging out tattooing. I'm like, this is
cool.
This is amazing.
I didn't know that Chase was involved with that.
Yeah. He just started. He's out of the store as well, and yeah, he's tattooing and doing a good job.
I saw him do an Entombed cover set on Halloween.
Right.
Yeah. And he also did. I think he did Sepultura. Yeah.
Brian and Daryl and all those.
It was super cool.
And Chap, yeah.
Yeah. I went to the show because I was like enticed by Entombed, and then I see the Chase up there, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is so sick. It's really out of character. You don't really see Chase playing like metal bands, but he killed it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I guess Bitter Kids was as heavy as he'd go, and not saying that we were heavy, but
no.
But yeah, I remember seeing. I don't know if they were covering another band, but that band had a show, and it was really nice to see him hit the drums really hard. Yeah, such a great thing.
So yeah, Bitter Kids. But Bitter Kids was a fairly popular band that you were in
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a bit about that experience of being in that band?
Sure. Yeah. It was definitely an experience. Did some tours through I guess just Ontario and Quebec, and then the last year before we split up, we did I think it was a 3-week States tour, which is pretty cool too. But yeah, other than that, there's a few lineup changes. I was in and out for a little bit. I started it. I think we had our CD release or EP release show, and that was my last show. And then I quit and I went to school for a year for music production, and then I came back, and then we went on that kind of States tour and got back, and we're just super broke and kind of didn't know what we were doing or what to do. And we had a guy we were working with who had all this stuff planned out, and we're like, how are we supposed to kind of pay for all this? And it just kind of slowly, I think we were working on a single, and just from what I remember, just kind of fizzled out. And then one day we're just like, okay, that's it, we're doing farewell show, original lineup, and calling it. And we did that, and that's probably to this date my favorite show at L3. I think we sold out L3, and it was just awesome. Yeah. And that show, Through These Words,
Between Breathing.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dark Nights, Bright Lights. But
Yeah.
Between Breathing. There's this band from Hamilton. I can't remember. Oh,
Rarity.
Yes. Yeah, Rarity. Yeah, I think that might have been the lineup, but it was just such a great show. And
I was totally there.
Yeah.
That was a good lineup. That was a good time. Now, so Bitter Kids kind of evolved into Lastli?
I guess so. I mean, it was Damien and I just kind of, and I think Chase was there in the beginning, and then Chase went to go play with other bands, so we got Scott to play, and then I played, and Andrew has always been kind of part of everything, so we got him in there too. So it kind of was just a collective, I guess. We all I think unknowingly we were just kind of we have the power to write, record, mix, film everything by ourselves. So these are all the things that when Bitter Kids was first starting out, it'd be okay, everyone's pitching $1,000 each to do a 5-song EP, So this way we kind of didn't have to do that. We just decided to do it all in house, all by ourselves. And it's nice because when I listen to our first tunes that were released in 2017 compared to the quality that I see we can do now, it's I can see that growth, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. Now, did you at all want to talk about maybe your old vocalist?
Yeah, we could talk about JD.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. He, for those who don't know, JD unfortunately passed away. He used to come in the shop all the time. I used to help him with anything that he needed. It's really unfortunate. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. It's never a good time to ever.
No. It was yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, definitely miss him. I got Chase to give me a little JD right here.
Oh, awesome.
Too, yeah. But he's a guy I often think about, and from especially listening to heavy stuff like North Lane, or there's a lot of music I listen to that I just think, oh man, or a lot of music I hear now where I'd be like, oh my goodness, I would love to send this to JD and see what he thinks and whatnot. But yeah,
it's never tough. It's never an easy time, and I had a couple friends of mine pass away in an old band, and I definitely can relate to that. Like you definitely want to be like, oh man, if they were around, they would totally dig this tune.
Yeah, yeah, and just it was definitely the first time I've had family members die, but this is the first time where, like a good friend like that, passes away, and the day that we all found out, we all got together at my place and just had a huge kind of celebration for him, but it got us talking about the good old like days and all the good memories, and it's often it's a thing we still kind of do too, is we talk about what was your favorite memory of him, and it's nice. But one of the Bitter Kids songs was called The Latest Scene, and at the time I wrote it about our bass player Jeff. Yeah. For whatever, you look back then and you're just like, oh, you're a bunch of kids who want to take it so seriously and whatever. So I wrote this song called The Latest Scene, which is kind of like a diss track. And I think we ended up booting Jeff. We definitely booted Jeff at one point. Yeah. And then he came back in, and it was all great. And we used to practice in Edler and Ford's wash bays in the back. Okay. So Chase's dad was like the manager there. We had no place to practice because we were so loud. Yeah. So after all the workers would go, we'd have our trailer back there, unload the trailer into this wash bay and like jam or whatever. So first jam back with Jeff, he's like, is this song about me? And my stomach drops. I'm like, look at Damien. I'm like, nope, it's all good. But anyways, after JD passed, I think we were in Jeff's backyard, and he was like, okay, I got a serious question. Is that song about me? And I was like, yep. Yeah, it is. It's sad, but things like that are horrible, but they always end up bringing people closer together, and you kind of realize what realize what you might have been taking for granted, and for sure. Yeah. Rest in peace, JD. Lastly, before we get into some Bandecdotes with each other, you're slinging houses now. Slinging houses, yeah. That's the only way I want to describe it. How'd you get into that? My dad's a real estate agent, as I think you knew. Yeah. So when I think the music store was a great job, but I was getting to a point where I'm like, I'm here every day. I need something that's a bit more flexible, and that makes me more money, so I could be more flexible, do things. I want to do music more. So my dad was, I think when I was 21, my dad was like, yo, you should just do real estate with me, and it'll kind of help you make the lifestyle that you need. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until like last year or 2 years ago I started the course. The pandemic happened, and I was like, okay, like might as well do some school. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of it. So I did the courses, and I've been doing it for like a year now. But it helped me get out of the music store, and now I have more time to work on music and kind of take that as far as I want to take it. And yeah. So yeah, like you mentioned, your dad is comes up in conversation, because he works with my mother-in-law. Oh, get out of here. So we'll be visiting the parents, and then she'd be like, oh, David suggested this, and I'd be like, David, Beach, and I can't remember how I put it together, because she kept saying David Beach, and I'm like, Beach. I wonder. And then I don't know how I put it together. Maybe I saw that you were putting slinging houses. Slinging houses, yeah. And I think I was like, I think that's his son. Yeah, totally is the case. So yeah, it's off. I think, to be entirely honest, the end of my driveway was fucked up today because it got plowed. Still looks fucked up. Yeah. So a plow went by, and we had that bush, and it kind of toppled all the snow over, and Haley called, my wife called her mother and was like, oh, can we get someone to get rid of the snow? And she called Dave, your dad, my dad, yeah. And was like, he knows somebody, and they totally took care of it. Oh, so no kidding. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have had to pay for an Uber for Kyle today. Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Awesome. Let's get into some Bandecdotes. So tell me some of the wild stories you have from being on the road, whether it's in the studio or anything in between. Yeah. Okay. First one I thought of for sure was the States tour we went on, mm-hmm. The last one. So load up the car or whatever. Go. I think where can you can cross in Niagara Falls. Yep. You can cross. Where's the other Windsor? Spot? Windsor, yeah, kind of area. So we into Detroit. Yep. So we are going to Windsor, Detroit, that area, because we're going down to Denver, Colorado for our first show. So I think we definitely got lost along the way, and we ended up at this border, but it was like a boat thing. Okay. To get us across the border, and that was definitely not what we were going for. So we had to go back around, and we finally get there, and Chase's dad, before he left, gave him a bunch of vitamin C's in
pills?
in a vitamin C pills in like a pill bottle.
Yeah.
But they look like oxys or something like that. So everything's cool. They went through our trailer, and then they find this thing, and they're like, "What are this?" And Chase is like, "There's vitamin C's."
Yeah.
So we had to wait for them to test them to make sure that they are vitamin C's, whatever. Other than that, smooth sailing over the border. But we finally get down to Denver, Colorado, and we find this. Our manager at the time told us that we can park in Planet Fitness or LA Fitness, I think it's called, LA Fitness parking lots. So we find this LA Fitness, that's what it's called, and he also said that we can just like go and get like a month-long membership to like shower and whatever.
Okay.
So we get there, we go in. Turns out we have to pay for the whole year, but we can cancel after. So just wasn't what we thought it was. So came back like a little bummed, and we decided to sleep in this like Ford. I want to say Ford Escape, but not a band van, but like a Ford Escape.
Right.
We have the trailer, whatever.
More like a family van.
Yeah. So three of us are over 6 feet, and then there's Damien too, right? So us tall guys are like, hey, we'll sleep like laying down in the back.
Yeah.
And Damien got the front seat, so we barely slept all night because there was just no room.
No.
There was a Burger King in this parking lot with Wi-Fi, so we pull up to this Burger King. I guess kind of close to it, but we have like this blacked out like Ford Escape and blacked out trailer, getting some Wi-Fi. And so once we got the Wi-Fi, we're like all like looking down on our phones. We also picked up because it was legal in Denver first, pot.
That's right.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
So we picked up some marijuana, so we had that in us. But anyways, we're all on our phones, and all of a sudden there's like this knock on the window, and we look up, and there's like 3 cop SUVs. Bunch of cops all around like the van and trailer with like their batons out, and we're like, what the can I swear on
yeah
we're like, what the fuck, like crazy. So they're asking like, you know, what's going on, what are you guys doing here? And we're like, oh, like we're from Canada, we're starting a tour, whatever. And so someone from the Burger King called, and I'm thinking like, oh man, we got pot in here, because that wasn't cool in Canada.
Yeah.
So someone from the Burger King called the cops on us because they thought we were about to rob the Burger King. So I've never heard of any Burger King robberies until then, but they thought that we were gonna straight up rob the place. And
wow.
I guess the van looked like it, but
right.
No, we were just trying to grab some Wi-Fi and send some messages and whatnot. So
if you were to rob a burger place, what would it be? Wouldn't it be Burger King?
I wouldn't rob for the money. I'd rob for the burgers.
That's what I mean. Like, what burger place would you go for?
Probably I'm vegetarian. A&W maybe.
There you go. Yeah,
Beyond Meat.
Yeah. KFC's got the Beyond stuff too.
Yeah. Chase gave me a bite of his the other day. It was good, I guess. I mean, I was raised vegetarian, so I've never had any of that before.
Oh wow.
So I think it tastes like chicken.
Sure.
You'll have to try it and tell me.
Tell you. That's crazy. Wow. So like just batons out and everything.
Oh man, yeah. We're all just like, what the fuck is going on?
And you just got to be like, hello.
Yeah, no, we're literally from Canada, just waiting to go to a venue. That was definitely one. Denver, Colorado, and then we had a show in Pennsylvania. I can't remember where exactly, but we got to the venue and we're like, okay, like let's find a motel. Calling around, every single motel was booked.
Really?
And we're like, we don't want to sleep in the van again. Like, I'd rather sleep outside. And so we find this one that's like maybe like 40 minutes away, and we're like, hey, this is the last one, and if not, we'll sleep in the van, whatever. So we make the call, and it's like this like older lady answers like, hello, whatever motel, and I was like, hey, like, do you guys have any rooms open? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, how much for a room for 4 guys? And she's like, $50. And we're like, $50? Like, okay, we're on our way. So we get there. As soon as we pulled in, I was like, nope. It was like, I don't know, like it was like a horror, if there was a TV show about a horror motel kind of thing. It was like that.
The Bates like, Motel or something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but we pulled up, and I don't really know how to describe it other than like really worn down. There was like people outside on like rocking chairs, just like you could tell people kind of lived there.
That's never a good sign.
Rocking. Get out of here with the rocking chairs. But yeah, anyways, I go in and it's just like $50 cash. She like gives me the key. I'm like looking around, kind of waving at people. I walk past this one room and there's like these two like older guys on bunk beds.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm just walking by to see that, like both kind of older bald guys, like one sitting on the bottom bunk, one sitting on the top bunk, and we're all just kind of like, okay, this is kind of scary. So maybe I was freaked out more than everyone else, but I was freaked out. But we get in this room, and it's just like this kind of ratty room. I swear there was like what looked like kind of blood stains on like the shower curtain.
Probably was.
Probably was. What else could it have been?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like remember just wrapping myself in a blanket that night and just being like, I'm just gonna fall asleep and we'll be gone tomorrow. But we also piled all of our suitcases in front of the door just in case. There's like plastic wrap on the windows, so just yeah. Anyways, it ended up being really nice. Nothing happened. It was great sleep. Wi-Fi was crappy, but.
Do you think anyone was murdered there at any given time?
Probably. How could they not be?
Yeah. That's where you would go, right?
Yeah. So there's that. How about you? Where have you guys stayed?
There was this one Airbnb that Hellbent stayed in. We stayed in it a couple times because it was $15. You can't go wrong with an Airbnb that's wrong at $15. But it was
$15 for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. So it was located at the top of a barn, and it was outside of Quebec City, rural, like it was just rural Quebec. At the top of a barn. You get up there, it's like a finished barn. So I mean, it's insulated. There's just mattresses on the floor. This was the only bathroom that I've ever been in my entire life. It had a shower, it had a toilet, but it didn't have a sink. Okay. So like it's like, yeah, you could do so much until you need to like wash your hands, brush your teeth. Like you have to use the kitchen sink, and yeah, there was a kitchen. I think there was a fridge. Don't think either of those things worked. We stayed in it once going out east, and then we stayed in it again coming back. And someone had definitely stayed in it in between because there was all the mattresses were piled into one place after we had came back. Probably because someone was like, this is sketchy. It was kind of sketchy, but we like, band on a budget, you go like, this is pretty sick for $15. And we've looked since. It's still it's been closed, so maybe something happened to that
Who
place.
knows,
But yeah, you can't get it anymore. That's probably the weirdest place I've ever gotten to stay. I mean, Why do you know? Where's another place that we've stayed, Kyle?
The Spider, the biker bar.
That's right. So we in Scarborough. No, not Scarborough. In Sudbury.
Okay.
There's this place called the Asylum. Don't know if it's there anymore.
How crazy it would be if it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. It was just a dream the entire time. Like it never existed. It caught on fire in 1942.
We're in it now.
Yeah. So we were in a place called the Asylum. The bar was cool. It was meant to look like a jail. It was pretty cool. But they offered you could go upstairs and I forget how much you paid, $50 a night, and they gave you a whole room.
That's awesome.
So it was kind of sick.
Yeah.
So we went up there. It was Wi-Fi, but it was still kind of sketchy. Like it was clearly for the bands, but I think someone lived up there too.
Oh yeah.
And at one point, the band that we were touring with were they're like, we're gonna go hang out with this guy. We're like, have fun. We had no part of that. And then there was an additional room that they let us purchase because there was three bands that we were doing this Ontario run with. So one band or two bands could stay in the one, another band. I can't remember exactly how we had this set up, but we needed to get the other room. So we're like, all right, sounds good. This room sounds great. So we pay for the other room. We walk in. The bed's messed up. So immediately you go oh, someone's been fucking on this bed. So we were like, the other band, you're gonna sleep in this room tonight. Oh. We're gonna stay in the other room and they were cool about it. They were kind of like, yeah, we don't fucking care. We'll sleep anywhere. But yeah, that was also a weird place. Just weird vibes because someone lived up there.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So that was their apartment, and then here we are.
Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like that's kind of what you get for when you're touring too. There's there's just weird spots. I mean,
always
there's in basements and some nice spots. There was this one time we did this run and the hotel was very strict about 2 beds, 4 people, or
Okay.
end up sneaking the other band in to like there's like 10 of you sleeping like on the floors and whatnot. When we were in Quebec this one time, we found one of the guys. I don't know if his band was playing or not, but he hit us up and was like, "Hey, I have this French guy, Fred Pierre or something like that. I don't know why I remember his name, redhead guy, but he was like, you guys can stay at my apartment if you want." So we're like, yeah, totally. Play the show. We all bring our stuff up there, and Chase is like deathly allergic to cats.
Okay.
Not deathly, but like very allergic to cats. I think he slept with one of Damien's blankets who had a cat or something, and his face was all like puffy. Anyways, as soon as we get up there, Chase is like, I can't stay up here. Like, and it's middle of winter. He's like, I have to sleep in like the van. So I was like, hey, I'll go with you and I'll sleep in the van. But yeah, so we ended up staying in the van, covered in blankets. We'd like every 2 hours we'd wake up, turn it on, get the heat going, and then turn it off. Wake up to this guy banging on the door, giving us tickets, speaking only French.
Oh,
and,
no.
I had no idea. So probably one of the worst sleeps. And then whole band comes back down. We're like loading everything up, and I'm like, did anyone grab my, like, it's my fault, but I was like, did anyone grab my bag up there? No one grabbed my bag full of all my clothes.
It's got everything.
And this guy went to work. So I was like, hey, like all we can do is like go back up to this apartment and see if he's there. And like, no word of a lie, coincidentally, he was coming home for lunch as we were going up to like see if he was there, and I got my bags back. But coldest sleep ever.
Yeah.
Coldest sleep ever.
That sounds awful. There was one time we were out, it was on that 2020 tour that we did. We met up with the band, and we found, again, rural Quebec, this Airbnb. This was actually pretty sick. It was this like old schoolhouse, but it was turned like into like a nice home. There was
in Quebec?
Somewhere in Quebec.
Cool.
I can't exactly remember. It was just somewhere in between. It was just along the way to the East Coast. Our first show was in Halifax, so we had to make like a 2-day trip out of it and stop somewhere in between. So we stopped at this one place. Yeah, super nice. It had a bunch of bunk beds in it for like tons of bands. The place was heated by a fire stove, so we kind of had to keep the fire going. Super cold. It was like -40, and like the inside, again, we slept pretty comfortable, but like you wake up in the morning and it's like this, like you're in the middle of nowhere and the sun's coming up, and there's just this place is just covered in snow, and that was a really cool place. We also stayed at a really nice place. Oh, I can't remember the name. They were so nice. There was a place in Halifax. They had a name. Do you remember?
In Halifax?
The name of that bed and breakfast. This bed and breakfast caters to bands. So they're like...
In Halifax.
Yeah.
Nice.
You pay a very low amount. They'll put you in, and then they'll feed you in the morning. And it's like catered towards bands.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, they don't ask for a ton of money. They ask for like kind of just to like cover the breakfast kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
awesome.
I wish the Crash Inn. That's what it was called.
The Crash
Inn.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So where's the furthest you've been from home with any of your bands?
Like Florida or like Colorado.
Florida?
Yeah.
How were those shows?
The whole tour was we weren't like that heavy. I mean, like, we had some like screaming and stuff like that, but all the shows that the bands that we were playing with were like, I think one band was called The Things They Carried or something like that, and the other one was called Carmella or something. But it started in Denver, and we like came up to Buffalo, and I remember we all got to the Buffalo show, and we're all just like, do we just go home? Because like we're definitely not making any money. Not that it's about making money or anything, but like, you know, we're all just kind of like, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be, I guess. But then we ended up going like back down to Florida. So we were supposed to, I think it's called the Keys or something like that in Florida. But we're supposed to make like $150 per show. And as soon as we got down there, met the promoter who was doing the 3 shows. He's like, I could pay you $150 for all 3 shows.
Okay.
So we're like, but luckily Chase's dad had a friend who had this big house in a gated community. So we ended up, that was like close to all these places. So we just stayed there, and it was kind of like a little like end of the tour vacation. Yeah. Really nice. And they have like 4 locos.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those things? Yeah. But yeah, we ended up having some fun with those. And we saved like a joint from Denver or whatever. But yeah. Anyways, I had to like call my mom and be like, "Hey, mom, can you send me some money so we can pay for gas to get home?" But
Yeah.
I think anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the furthest I think would be like Florida.
Florida.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
that's further than Colorado, I think, right?
I don't know. I don't
Let's
know.
say it is.
American geography I'm
Yeah.
terrible with. One is one coast, one is the other that I think
Yeah,
of. But yeah, that's about as much as I know. What's your go-to gas station snack when you're on the road?
Go-to gas station snack. I love like the I don't know exactly what they're called, but like the little cupcake, the Hostess cupcake.
Hostess cupcakes, yeah.
Something like that, or
Yeah.
like a bag of like sweet chili heat.
Yeah,
or something like
good
that.
call. Yeah, I'm a sucker for the Twinkies as well.
The yeah.
Any Hostess kind of pastry, I'm a sucker
yeah, the
for.
cookies or anything like that. I'm definitely I love sweets.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Is there
Definitely
any
sweets guy.
preferred drink you go through? Soft drinks, slushies?
probably like Gatorade or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Gatorade.
Yeah.
That's
Or
a good thing to have on the road.
Good old fashioned water.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with water.
Yeah.
Right on. What are some of your? Or sorry, actually, before I get into that, if Lastli's at the level of Metallica, so you guys are selling out arenas, you guys
Totally.
are fucking huge. What's in your green room waiting for you? What's the rock star dream writer?
Oh my! I've literally never thought of that. Probably like pad thai.
Yeah,
I guess like yeah. I mean I don't know, pad thai, some
tofu pad thai.
tofu pad
Yeah.
thai, tofu pad thai. Yeah, I'd say some like I don't know. I don't like drinking before I play, but like I don't know. Yeah, probably some sort of booze for after or something like that. That's a great question, Phil. You got me there. I've never thought about that. Snacks.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you choose? Let me steal from you.
Yeah, no. So like, if I had like a budget like that, it would be something stupid. There would probably be a couple arcade cabinets off to the side.
Oh,
Something I could play just before.
Yeah.
I've always to be like fucking weird just to make it, because again I got this weird stupid budget. I would probably have movie posters of movies that didn't do too well. So like maybe like Adventures of Pluto Nash, The Master of Disguise or something like that.
Yeah, it would be cool to have a celebrity in there, like
of course.
Who's the one dude from Superbad? I could see his Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Every show that we play, Michael Cera has to be in the green room, just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Part of the writer.
Yeah. And it would be great if he was his character from This Is the End. He's just fucking coked
I
out.
literally just watched that the other day. That's hilarious.
It's a classic movie.
Yeah. Gets impaled by the
That's right.
street light.
Yeah, that's right.
Looking for his cell phone. Yeah, love it.
Awesome. So I think I've got one more question here for you, and it's a big one. What are your top 5 favorite bands? And if you can't give me 5, give me 3.
5 favorite bands, artists.
Bands, yeah.
The Used is definitely one of my favorite. I don't know if
yeah.
you guys ever listen to them.
Oh yeah, they're
The Used.
huge.
Yeah. I feel like they're like the adult version of My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, I mean,
People are gonna hate that, but that's how I feel.
Have you ever seen it's funny that you bring that up. Have you ever seen the performance? It's a live performance of My Chemical Romance and the Used do a cover of Under Pressure.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, it's
Crazy,
so good.
yeah.
You get that dynamic that like David Bowie and what's his fucking Freddie Mercury had. It's really cool to see them both, like, because they're both pillars of the emo scene, kind of like that MySpace scene.
Yeah.
But they both have very different voices, but they're complementary.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a cool band.
Yeah, I love that collab. That's at the end of one of the records. I think that's at the end of In Love and Death.
Yeah.
But the Used, so yeah, definitely the Used. I love Casey Musgraves.
I don't know if I've ever
Casey
heard that.
Musgraves is a country artist,
Okay.
I guess, but it's like it's not country, but it's pop. But it's nice. They're really nice pop tunes, and she talks. She won like best album of 2018, and she talks about how her and her husband just did a bunch of acid before she wrote this record. You know, and I love that. For some reasons, for such a mainstream artist to just be like, yeah, I did a bunch of acid and wrote this, and it won 2018's best record, and then she just released a new one. And she said she did like a guided mushroom trip. Not to get off topic, I know I've been doing I've been microdosing mushrooms.
Oh yeah. How's that? How's that?
It's unreal. It's cool. Yeah, it's not enough. I've done mushrooms where I'm like tripping out.
Yeah.
Which can be fun, but also like scary.
Very scary.
Yeah, when you're taking just a little bit, I just feel like It's like kind of nice, and you kind of feel it. It's like just like kind of massaging your shoulders a
Right.
little bit while you're going through your day.
Yeah, I've
It's
always
kinda
wanted to
nice.
experience microdosing.
Yeah,
So how, like you just like, you can buy them nowadays, right?
you buy
Like,
them. I buy them from some place in like BC, I think, and they
cool.
just mail it to me. It's there in a few days, and yeah, you'll just wake up, take like a 200 mg,
Yeah,
have like your tea or coffee, and get on with your day. And it's
makes a difference, eh?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Anyways, favorite bands. I really do like Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can't go wrong with them.
There's a couple records I really like, and I just kind of fell off that train for a bit and listened to Ammo.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
It was the first time I didn't even know it existed. But I was listening to Sepraternal and then into That's the Spirit, and then I was like, oh, there's a new one, and I'm listening to it, and it's just really creative, and it's still got that kind of heavy stuff. And then they have a new song called Die For You.
yeah, it's a really
I'm
catchy
just like,
song.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so
They're such an interesting band. I remember them so well when they hit the scene with that first record, Count Your Blessings. And I very vividly remember, I can't remember
is that with like Chelsea Smile and
No, it's before that. It was
Before
like
that.
Pray for Plagues.
Okay.
It's like the more deathcore sounding
Yeah.
stuff. I can very vividly remember, I can't remember who I was talking to, but was talked to about that band. And I can remember them saying, that band won't be a band in 10 years. They're just a bunch of posers and all that. And like,
one of the biggest bands.
they're huge, and they've done so much for that sound, right? They constantly are evolving and bringing it to new levels. And
Yeah.
like, if you were to tell a fan of that band what they sound like nowadays, they'd be like, "What are you talking about?" But to see that progression,
Yeah.
it just only makes sense.
Oh, it's great. Yeah,
Yeah, they're a really cool
I love
band.
it. I love even I don't know how you guys feel about Coldplay, but like Coldplay is another great band
Yeah.
that has done that too, from like just like piano and whatever rock to what they are now. I feel like they've evolved like crazy too, and I like that too. I don't like hearing a band do the same album over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know? Though the Used's newest album, I listened to it. I'm like, there's like some influence from like the Taste of Ink and In Love and Death, and I kind of like that. But yeah, anyways, I don't like hearing the same.
If
same
you
album every
keep that
time.
influence in there, it's fine. But like, you still gotta hit new levels with the sound, right?
Or,
You know what I mean?
Billy Talent has a new album out.
How is it? I haven't listened to it.
It's good, yeah. There's some tunes where you're like, oh man, I think he might have kept this riff in his back pocket from like the first album.
Oh,
and
yeah?
he's bringing it out. So yeah, it's kind of cool.
They're an interesting band because they've made it quite big with the sound that they have. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like, say what you will about the band, but like that, it's hard to look back and like try honesty with it's an aggressive tune, but like look where they got with them. Like
Yeah.
it's like
That's one of my favorite songs. I think that guitar player is just like the first two records for sure are my favorite. But like, I used to teach guitar at my house for like a little bit, and and all these kids that would come in who were like, oh, I'm born in 2001, I'm born in 2002, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I've never heard of Billy Talent. I'm like, you got to listen to these first two albums and like just learn how to play like the first two albums on guitar, and like they're awesome. You know?
Yeah, that vocal style that he does is definitely influential for like even my band Hellbent, like
Fair
that
enough,
kind of
yeah.
like high pitched kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
screaming. Yeah, it's cool that they're still around.
Yeah, I like that. Another band. I don't know if you guys have heard them or not, but a band called Copeland from.
I don't think I have.
They're from Florida, but yeah, that's kind of like piano, alternative rock, kind
Yeah.
of whatever. They same kind of thing. Started off kind of as like this kind of like, not aggressive, kind of like like a rocky kind of band into something like completely different, but very nice. Copeland, Blink-182, Billy Talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think if I'd hate to go home and be like, oh, I forgot that I really love this band. But yeah, kind of that. How are you guys?
One of my favorite bands of all time would definitely have to be Metallica's up there. Can't go wrong with that. Metallica's one of my biggest influences on just like everything. I also love an artist. He goes by the name of Slug, but he's in a band called Atmosphere. He's a rapper. He's
Cool.
from Minneapolis. I've always loved him. He's just been super cool to, again, he has a label called Rhyme Sayer, so he's always bringing these artists up, and like he's been active since the 90s, so like, and now he's a lot older now. He's more of like a dad. He even makes
Cool.
jokes
Oh, yeah.
about like dadmosphere, like so like he's one of my favorites, and every time I die is definitely one of my favorite
Cool.
bands of all time. I'm really heartbroken about them breaking up.
They just released a new tune, didn't
The
they?
whole record.
Yeah, okay.
They released the whole
yeah.
record in November, and then they broke up,
Right.
and that just happened a couple weeks ago.
I think I read something about that.
It was pretty awful.
I don't know anything about it. I couldn't find what it was about.
Oh, really? In a nutshell, it's what happened with like the Gallaghers, Oasis brothers, just like the kind of the both Keith and Jordan. Like again, in a nutshell, you can look it up. They're not getting along. Let's just put it that way. The band's just kind of reached a tipping point. So
yeah, fair enough.
It's really bummer to see, but it is what it is, right?
Cool.
Well, you know what? I think we'll end it there.
Cool, man.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was awesome.
Where can all the viewers and listeners find you on social medias? Where are all the bands?
Social medias, I think Instagram is Lastli Music, Lastli with an I. TikTok, for all you TikTokers, is Lastli Official. Have you guys done TikTok?
We're like dipping our toes in it. It's
I don't know. I guess I feel like I have to do it. But,
right. It makes me feel severely out of touch.
Yeah.
But we're trying.
I'm trying.
You know,
it's
hard to make content because a lot of people just make content for like the sake of content, and some people just make videos for the sake of making videos, and both of those videos will blow up and be viral. So where do bands go from there? I don't know. It's tough.
No idea. Yeah, TikTok. Everything else is like Lastli Music. Lastli. We're on all streaming platforms and whatnot.
Awesome.
So cool, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Cool.
Take it easy.
You too. Thanks.